Namaskaram, my dear friends. I am back again. It's good to be back. It's only been a week. But it's good to be back because I think this week was also packed with a lot of realizations. Things I noticed, things I realized that are somehow hindering me from my spiritual progress. But of course, the first step is always knowing these hurdles so I could overcome them. Or maybe get rid of them. We'll see. So based on what I have talked about lately, I have had some relationship hurdles, and it was one of the major or bigger challenges I have had this past few weeks. But throughout the process, very enlightening, I promise you. Enlightening. Not lightning, but enlightening. And that process made me realize something very important about myself, that I am very, very self-centered. I think it comes with the territory. I mean, the fact that I'm doing a YouTube channel could be a reason that I have some residual self-centeredness in me. I'm not saying it's completely gone, but oh my gosh, I finally found some things to be true in a sense that it does really affect my spiritual progress. However, I really think, maintaining the channel, uploading videos, and my sharing, I think really helps people, and I enjoy doing it. So I'm going to stay consistent and continue. Helping people, in a sense, it somehow inspires them, as those people who share their experiences to really, really inspire me. So I wanted to do the same. And I think being consistent is also key, because I think a lot of things in life, if we're persistent, we get to get what we want. But when we're consistent, then we get to keep what we want. And when we're grateful, then we will receive all the grace there is in the world. I have actually heard that from my brother, who's been my constant refuge, my constant support through the process of dissolutions and transformation in whatever aspect I am experiencing in my life. So, to my brother. So how I have come to realize about my self-centeredness. I came upon a video from Isha Foundation about how volunteers and brahmacharis take care of the cows in Gaushala, is that how you call it? Of the cows and bulls in IYC, in Isha Yoga Center. And they went on saying they pour out their everything from beginning of the day until when the cows and the bulls fall asleep. And oh my gosh, I love animals, I love trees, I love nature, but I just realized I don't really put myself behind. I don't put the needs of animals and trees before my own. And watching that video, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm missing a key aspect of it. It's so easy for me to be able to put my needs behind other people's needs, but it's a step further, it's a step beyond, it's a step to dissolution if I'm able to put my needs behind those of beings other than human beings, of nature, of animals, of all there is that is creation. And it made me realize, yes, it's easy to situate myself to put my needs behind my daughters, my families, friends and co-workers, but now I have to figure out how I can practice putting my needs behind those of the rest of creation. I haven't figured out how to go about it, but I think it is a step. But hold one moment, because my sweet potato is boiling. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. That was my realization from the Gaushala. And leading into my relationship struggles, I also realized I'm really, really self-centered, because I feel like I have to be happy first before my partner. And I didn't think of it in that sense, but I thought about it where I have to serve him, right? That's my dharma as a partner. I have to serve him. But if he does not appreciate how I serve him, then I stop. I don't even figure out what he wants or what he's appreciative of what he needs from me. I just stop because he does not appreciate how I serve him. And then oh my gosh, that's also really, really self-centered. Wanting people to appreciate how I serve them instead of me adjusting to what they need or what they want, or just, putting their needs before mine. So that was a big realization. And it didn't come in a way where it was very, not painful. It was really painful. It was a painful process. I had to be shaken out of my core. And I thought it was the end of the world, but Grace just works in mysterious ways. It's just not the way we think of. It's too vast. It cannot be contained in our brains because it will just mutate. It will just transform. It just does its miracle in ways we can't even comprehend or we can't even think about. Grace. So yes, through my relationship, watching the video of how brahmacharis and volunteers take care of cows and bulls, I have found out that me being self-centered is such a big hurdle to my spiritual progress. But identification is the first step. So I need to work on myself. And I know that. Next! Sadhguru have mentioned that the path of Kriya Yoga is not really the most common choice, as some tend to be more natural in terms of choosing. Like for me, I think my natural path would easily be bhakti and karma. Just based on my observation of myself. I pour a lot of my emotions and I could really feel like my emotions are really strong. And I do a lot of work. Like I just work. But maybe, the karma part, the working part, I also need to really tweak it. Because of the identified factor beforehand was the self-centeredness. So yes, I need to work on that. But naturally, bhakti and karma. However, on the path of Kriya, Sadhguru said it's going to be hard for those people who seek comfort. And my gosh! I seek a lot of comfort. I came upon this video too of Prime Minister Modi. Is that how you say his last name? PM Modi, where he himself is also a seeker, and he talked about instances when he was younger where he wanted to really test the limits of his body, where he would sleep outside and exposing himself to all the elements and just feel what it is, feel life, or trying to figure out what life is all about. And that was one of his ways to try and see what there is to see. And the thought of it, like, oh my gosh, I want to try that too. I have thought about it a lot. Just being out there in the woods, feeling nature, etc. Just soaking it in, what Mother Nature has to pour onto me. And then when I start planning, I'm like, oh, the mosquitoes, oh, the ants, oh, it's gonna be too cold, oh, it's gonna be too hot. Oh, what are the people going to do to me if I'm all by myself in the middle of nowhere? And I'm a girl. Like, my gosh, all the excuses, all the list of excuses does not end at all. And I think it's just the excuses I have because I seek comfort. I like my warm bed. I like my blankets. I like the regulated temperature in the house. So, sounds hopeless, but not, because identification is the first step. Because Sadhguru said in the path of Kriya Yoga, one major hindrance is that people are really seeking comfort. And like, oh my gosh, knowing that I really need to work on being a slave to comfort. Maybe test myself slowly. So I did my first step of testing my my comfort levels. So I had to drop off my daughter at drama club, and she was going to be there for 3 hours. So I had 3 hours. I still needed to do my Ardha Siddhasana for 90 minutes. I still needed to do my Sukha Kriya. So I did that while I was by the beach. So I dropped her off. I went to the beach. Actually, it's not the beach. It's like the intercoastal. So it's like a coast, like a beach coast. But on the other side, there's another coast. And it's like within 2 long islands, intercoastal. Anyways, so I was there, and it was nice because it wasn't too harsh, the winds. The waves were not too bad because, of course, it wasn't the intercoastal. So I found a spot, a sandy spot where there's some grass, and I laid a blanket there, and I did my Ardha Siddhasana and Sukha Kriya. I was able to sit there for, I believe, more than 90 minutes because I did Shakti Chalana Kriya and Shambhavi before I sat for Ardha Siddhasana. And it was great. It was a wonderful feeling because the breeze, the sunset, everything was beautiful. It wasn't too cold. It was really wonderful. But when it was closer to 2 hours, like, my gosh, an ant found its way from under my blanket onto my blanket, and it bit me. And then I'm like, this is not gonna work. So I stopped, and then I realized If I have had just stayed there for a little longer, sure, I would have scratched the ant away and scratched the bump so it'll just reduce the irritation a bit. The itchiness will go away. But I stood and scratched more and didn't want to be around the ants anymore. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe I should have left the ants. I should have probably looked at the spot before I laid my blanket. Or maybe I should have just moved my blanket a little bit further after I was bitten so I could continue. But I stood up because the time was up and it was time for me to get up. But see, that instance made me think, maybe the beach is not the best, but I really need to counter the intense desire of seeking comfort. I need to tone it down. Again, first step is identification. Next is wanting sleep, wanting a longer sleep time. You know though, my gosh, I think I've shared this before that after switching my diet to vegan and raw vegan, 50% raw vegan for samyama, my sleep quota has significantly decreased. Like I've been sleeping a lot less ever since I've been doing a lot of sadhana. I used to sleep like 8 or more hours. Then I cut it down to like 6, 5, 4. But right now, consistently, I've been sleeping 4 and I feel well rested. Because of the change in diet, I really realized like, oh my gosh, when I wake up after sleeping for 4 or 3 hours, when I do my sadhana, before I switched to the vegan raw diet, my sadhana was just really sluggish. I had to struggle to stay awake while doing my sadhana. But right now, even if I wake up and I feel like, I wanted more sleep, because I know I have to wake up and do my sadhana. While doing my sadhana, I really don't fall asleep. I am there. And I really think it's because of the diet change. Having a lot more bananas. I think I've eaten so much more bananas than I have ever eaten in my life. And the raw peanuts, the raw groundnuts has really, filled my tummy most days. And after samyama, I don't know, I still crave the cheese, I still crave paneer, I still crave pasta, the boxed versions. But now I know like there's really a huge difference in my alertness in relation to the food that I eat. But like what Sadhguru said, one of the unconscious things that we do in life that just happens is sleep, among others. It was like death, hunger, sexual desires, sleep, and death. So sleep. One time I had a free day and I thought to myself, I wanted to sleep longer today and I will do my sadhana starting at 8 a.m. And so I woke up at 3 actually. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's 3. Let me sleep in. Because I wanted to and I had the time. And I woke up at 8, did my sadhana, and I promise you, it felt so bad doing my sadhana at 8 because I just felt restless. I felt like the day has gone by and I'm still doing my sadhana. Granted, I love doing my sadhana because I choose to do sadhana. But doing it from like 8 to like close to noon didn't feel right. So I'm like, instead of saving time, I just felt like I wasted my time onto sleep that I didn't need. So I really thought that decision was not the best. So even on free days, I told myself like, I didn't want to feel that way again. I didn't want to feel like I'm wasting my day because I decided to sleep extra longer. So sleep, yes, another thing I've identified that somehow is hindering my spiritual progress. But again, first step is identification. Oh, next thing, very big thing. When I'm unconscious about what I feed my mind, we're in the world where a lot of social media is just like thrown in our faces. All the shorts, all the videos, the things, the ads, our feed that we see that's somehow not really in our control, but based on the algorithm of our tendencies. It's like instant dopamine. I really need to be conscious about it because if I get caught and I dive deeper and stay submerged for too long, then it stays in my brain for too long and I didn't want that. Like what Sadhguru said, if you can constantly think of something for 21 minutes and over, then it's gonna stay. That feeling's going to last. So same with like social media. It somehow is instant gratification, and if I immerse myself in unconscious feeds, and it usually last more than 21 minutes because 21 minutes is actually a really short time. Scrolling seems like a short time, but unconsciously, it's already like soaked in me. And I didn't want that. So I think I really need to consciously select what is blasted on my face. I think the more effective, efficient, I think a better source of media for me is really Sadhguru exclusive. And of course the videos that Sadhguru has on his YouTube channel. Because it's like hour-long talks, like Youth and Truth, and I can't remember what it was, but it's like spending time with the mystic or like sharing with the mystic. I can't remember, but it's like usually hour-long videos. So I think that's a better thing to consume. It's a better media to consume than the feeds that I have. But again, the first step is identification. But the last thing I have identified that is a hurdle to my spiritual progress is not a new one. My constant seeking for security. I haven't really figured it out how I'm gonna go about it. I think the only resolve that I have chose right now is to stick to my plan. My now 8-year plan, just stick to it. And whatever happens, I need to stick to what I said in terms of not really bother earning any more money, not really needing to work for extra security, and just be okay and content with what I will be receiving 7-8 years from now. That is my resolve. I know it's still a hurdle for me because it constantly still runs in my head about other ways than just the 8-year plan or the 7-year plan. I'm trying to compress it, doesn't work. I wanted to expand it, of course doesn't work. So I just need to stick to my plan for now. Unless divine intervention happens, as it does. And when it does, I will change my course. But yes, you guys, I just wanted to share with you all the hurdles I have with my spiritual growth. And I hope some of them are relatable. What do you guys think? Are there things that I am experiencing the same with you, what you all are experiencing? Do share. I do appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate your guys' comments. I appreciate your guys' sharing. And as always, Namaskaram. So yes, until next time, you guys. Bye.